like Gerald was talking about, we have a lot of parents today that are believing a lot of what people are telling them about their son or their daughter. Um, and as far as where I come from, you have to be pretty exceptionally good to play at the Division 1 level. We had a lot of kids back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, you know, get stuck into this thing where coach, well, I want to go D1. I want to go D1. You know, not very many of those kids that were telling me that were at that level to do that. And they also had to put in the work. So you had parents that were being told by whoever, and they just, in La La Land assumed that their son or their daughter was going to play at the Division 1 level after high school. And I used to tell them all the time, I said, be happy with whoever is reaching out to you. I wouldn't shun away any colleges that are showing interest in your son or your daughter. That's just crazy. Because back when I first started a lot of this coaching, and still to this day, I haven't been on the sidelines in years. The whole goal was to get these kids an education. You know, the focus was to get them a good education and then also get to play a sport that they love to play. That's that was kind of the drive of why I did it for so long. Um, and then toward the last couple of years of me coaching high school and travel ball, uh, got to be it just got to be too much, you know, unrealistic parents. High school coaches were, kind of unrealistic where kids were. I was getting phone calls from coaches all over the state that were sending kids to play with us during the summer, because they heard about the program, they heard about what we've done, they've heard about us winning a lot, and they would come and I would, I'd have to say, hate to tell them that, they're probably not as good as they were told or as they thought. Um, so there was a lot of unrealistic, and there is a lot of unrealistic parents, I like to say, out there. Uh, but I'm also a person with this game that, you can definitely put the time and the effort into it to get better. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the social media. I think social media has kind of tainted the game a little bit because there's a lot of these kids getting on and wanting to do videos of, of what they're doing, what kind of moves they're making, you know, trainers. Nothing against nothing against training, but I listened to Jason Williams the other night on a podcast, and you know, he even admitted that he had his kids with trainers, but you've got these guys training, kids in the game today to do these robotic moves. You know, I don't understand it. I don't really get it. But it's kind of the way where we're at today. A lot of the creativity of the game has gone out the door. You know, um, and they want to come down and they want to dribble 25 times in one spot. I don't quite understand it. I've always said, me and Gerald grew up in a time, with basketball was definitely a lot more pure. Um, we didn't have trainers. We didn't have no trainers. Our training was going, and me, where I grew up on the side of town in Orlando, we played outside a lot. Didn't have a lot of gyms to go to. They were there, but wasn't as easy. So we learned on the blacktop. Really, that's where we learned to play. That's where I played all the time. It was like religion to go out on a Saturday morning, play some, come back Saturday afternoon. We did that for a long time, forever. You know, um, we'd be fortunate to get into a gym here or there. Uh, it was a little bit more. It was, I guess, it was a little bit more accessible back in the days. And as we got older, it got tougher and tougher because people didn't want issues with people getting hurt in gyms, and then they get sued, and so it's just a lot of red tape. Just a lot of red tape. Uh, but I even listened to a conversation that Stephon Marbury had in New York City talking about trainers. And he said he told a story that like if he would gone to his mom and said that he had a trainer and I had to pay him XYZ, his mom looked at him and said, "Your trainer is out there with those two basketball goals in that court." She goes, "I don't have money for that." And it's true. Those guys grew up on the blacktop in New York City learning how to play. And I know Gerald can attest to this. There was no better other way to learn to get better than playing in the street. I mean, that's just to get the feel of the game. You know, I can't tell you any other way. Now when we got into the organized part of it as you get older, but still, I wouldn't change my days for nothing. Growing up in the park playing for sure, not even close.
Yeah, I really, I mean, when you brought that up about the training, it's like, didn't even know that. I mean, we knew it existed, but that was, just to be honest with you, that was on the white side, man.